Hello, Maggie again. This week we're going to be doing some algebra, and whether you like it or not, that's what we're doing. This is a good practice, a good review for everybody. So let's just get started. The goal of algebra. What is the goal of every algebra problem? Yes, Izzy. Yes, that's right. Isolate the variable. What does the word isolate mean? Isolate. Yes, you over there. Yes, you. Yeah, isolate means to get by itself. Get by itself. So we need to get the variable or the letter thing by itself. Okay? We're going to just start with a very simple two-step equation. Okay? Let's go with, all right. So here we have 3x plus 2 equals 14. The goal of this problem is to get the letter by itself, get the variable by itself, isolate it. Here's the x. The question is what's in the way of it just having x equals blank? We want to know what x equals so that this is true. So what's in the way? Yes, Nathan. The 3 is in the way. What else is in the way? Looking around. Ivana? Yes, the plus 2 is in the way. Now, I like to put a line here because this is a balance. So this side is balanced with this side. In order to get this x by itself, we need to use what are called inverse operations. Inverse is a fancy word for opposite. So do the opposite to get rid of it, okay? Since we're doing the opposite, we're going to do the opposite of the order of operations. So instead of getting rid of the parentheses stuff first, we're actually going to get rid of the add, subtract stuff first. So here's a plus 2. We want to get rid of plus 2. What is the opposite or the inverse of adding 2? Colin. Yes, minus 2. Good one, Colin. Now, what is plus 2 minus 2? What is positive 2 combined with minus 2? That's 0. So we're going to cross this out because it's 0. But if we take away 2 on this side of the balance, of the equal sign, we need to take away 2 on this side of the balance. 14 minus 2. Yes, Andrea, 12. Good. Now, what is still on this side? What's still over here? That is gone, so what's still there? Good, 3x. Now, we still need to isolate the variable. There's still a number in the way. What does it mean when they're next to each other, the 3 and the x? When they're next to each other, what does that mean? That means multiply. So we need to do the opposite of multiply. And the opposite of multiply, or the inverse of multiply, is to divide. If we divide this side by 3, what is 3 divided by 3? It's not 0. If you just said 0, no. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And that's what we want to know. We want to know what 1x is. If we divide this side by 3, yes, Brenda, we divide this side by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And the only thing left is that 1x. So x is 4. We can check that if we put it right here. What is 3 times 4? 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. So that balances 14 with 14. Now, some of you are like, well, I could have done that in my head. You're right, but these are going to get much, much more complicated. So it's important to understand the process behind it as opposed to just getting the answer in your head. Let's try the next one. Here we go, a little more complicated. We got negatives all over the place. Okay, again, the goal of the problem, no matter how complicated it is to isolate the variable. Get the variable by itself by doing inverse operations. So what is in the way of the x being by itself? The negative 2 and the minus 4. We need to get rid of add or subtract stuff first. Now some of you would say, well, that's a subtract. That's actually a times problem. So we need to get rid of this minus 4. And what's the opposite of minus 4? Posse. Yes, plus 4. Good one, Posse. What is minus 4 plus 4? That's a big 0 pair, so we get to cross it out. If I plus 4 on this side, I should, yes, Luma, yes, plus 4 on this side. Negative 10 plus 4, ooh, let's see, if I've got 10 negatives and I combine that with 4 positives, what's there more of, negatives or positives? Negatives. How many more negatives? 6. What's still left on this side is a negative 2x. Now, here's ding, 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 ding. Major mistake. What do you think the biggest mistake kids are going to make to get rid of this? What do you think they're going to do incorrectly? What are they going to do incorrectly? Luca? Good, yeah. They would add 2. Thanks, Luca. We're not going to add 2 because to get rid of this minus 2, we would not add 2 because this is actually a multiply problem. So we need to do the opposite of multiplying. Lily, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 would make positive 1, which is what we want to know. We want to know what positive 1x is. If I divide that side by negative 2, I'm going to divide this side by negative 2. Ooh, how many negative 2's will it take to get to negative 6? How many negative 2's to get to negative 6? Positive 3. Negative divided by negative is a positive. So we have figured out that x is 3. If we put that back in, what is negative 2 times 3? Negative 6. What is negative 6 minus 4? I don't like to subtract. If I added the opposite, negative 6 and 4 more negatives, is negative 10. So negative 10 does equal negative 10. Questions? Good. All right. We'll do one more, then you'll practice this. Okay, what's different about this problem? What is different about this her problem? Yes, Isaac. It's written backwards. It's kind of flipped around. That doesn't change the point that the goal of the problem is to get the x by itself, get the variable by itself. In this case, the x is on this side. So what are kids going to incorrectly get rid of when they shouldn't? They're going to incorrectly move this 5. If you move the 5, then there's nothing over there. We want to move this stuff that's in the way of the x. How do we move this stuff? Get rid of the add or subtract stuff first. So here I see a plus 1. What's the opposite of plussing 1? Angelina? Yes, that's right. That's minus 1. If I minus 1 here, I need to minus 1 here. Again, I don't like to subtract. Kids are going to get this wrong. They're going to do this too quickly and say negative 4. I don't like to subtract. I would rather add the opposite. 5 negatives plus another negative is 6 negatives. What's still on this side? 6x. How do we get rid of the 6 when it's next to it? That means multiply, so the opposite of multiply is divide. If I divide this by 6, that would make our 1x. If I divide this side by 6, I need to divide this side by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Should the answer be positive or negative? It should be a negative because there is one negative. And the rules, I don't want to go through all the rules, but one negative when you're dividing is a negative answer. We can check our answer here. I take negative 1, I put it right here. What's 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. And what's negative 6 plus 1? Negative 5. Does that match with negative 5? You betcha. That is the lesson. We will continue practicing algebra all week, so you'll see me again. And when you click the next page and you click your next assignment, there I'll be with another video. I'm out.